Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very high-profile guest tonight. Share the video, invite a few friends. Very shortly, as soon as we get a signal from the Honorable Senator of MONTSERRADO County, DARIUS DILLION, you will see him live in our BRIDGERADIO Africa studio. Don't be selfish. Don't enjoy this show by yourself tonight. Invite a few friends. Oh, man. Liberia tonight, folks. I will tell you something. We are trendsetters. We set the trend. All those fathers. It comes with decades of experience. Tonight we are on 5 major radio stations in Liberia, Monrovia, Liberia, other parts of the country. It's called broadcast syndication. We are no more on the outside looking in. We are in Liberia tonight, folks. The senator will soon be here. So invite a few friends. I no longer have the option to share the video. I don't know what happened. But I can assure you tonight we are going to have fun. All kinds of fun tonight. So very shortly, as soon as we get signal from the Honorable Senator of MONTSERRADO County, A.B. DARIUS DILLION, you will see him live on BRIDGERADIO Africa. Tonight, folks, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. in Liberia. You'll be on Top FM and Top Television in Zwedru Grangida County. You'll also be on Prime FM 105.5. You will be on Joy FM 105.1. You'll be on Live FM 104.1. Folks, this is not a game. The people in Liberia, they need to hear from us. And there's no way that you can be in the business for this long and continue to distance yourself from the people. So tonight, the Honorable Senator DARIUS DILLION is coming to tell us his chances of defeating Thomas Fowler. I also messaged Honorable Thomas Fowler. I've given him the opportunity to show up on BRIDGERADIO Africa. You know, I've always thought about being in this position where I'm not in the pocket of the government. I'm not in the pocket of the opposition. For the length of time that I've been in this business, I have to be in the middle and ask the tough questions. You see DARIUS DILLION tonight when he can't, you think he must say make him proud. Because it is not about DARIUS DILLION, it is not about someone's father, it is about Liberia. Do they really care about our country? We have to ask these questions. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to Liberia. I want to have the opportunity to go from county to county and see how my country looks like. Politicians come, they say all kinds of things. By the time they get you later, then things change. So today we have Honorable Darius DILLION. The other people, you also have the opportunity to join us as well on this fair and balanced platform. Okay? So sit back, relax. If you are contesting to be Senator of MONTSERRADO County, just so you know, this platform is open to you as well. Grab something to drink. Get the popcorn rolling. Invite a few friends. Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce myself in 2 minutes. That will be 10 p.m. in Liberia, where the local radio stations are all ready to relay our broadcast. In the meantime, folks, let's have fun. Again, we have a very high-profile guest tonight, and I just want to, at this time, recognize a few friends, those who continue to come on here, day in, day out. The likes of Junior Flomo, McCarvin, Levi Madison, Oscar Dino, Missing Gold Jr., Sergio. I also see Bassa Man. I see Lorenzo B. Okai. Oscar Dino is also here as well. I'll see Menjuke, Joman, Rabozawu, Mr. Vinico, Yvette Cephas, Jefferson Zia, Vincent San, Raphael Ma, V. Wisse, Moses Bobo. The Darius DILLION man can pull crowd. The horse already packed. Yeah, I'm telling you. You know, Dempster Greer and the rest of the crew. And I'm telling you, very shortly, I just got a cue that the senator is somewhere around. Ladies and gentlemen, by way of introduction, I know some hear the name, some hear people talk about him. You've gotten the opportunity tonight to match the name, voice, and face to the person in question. Tonight we're live. We're live tonight on the Prime FM. We're also live tonight on Super FM. We're live tonight on Top FM in Zwedru Grand Judah County. We're live on Live FM. We're on Joy tonight, folks. And I want to say a big thank you to the local radio stations in Liberia for believing in us. To say, you know what, veteran? We want to come on your platform. We want you to come on our stations. It is a blessing. And we just want to ask God to put more grease on our airballs. Because you know what? At the end of the day, Liberia is the only country we have. Pray for Liberia. Pray for the people of Liberia. Pray for the leadership. Give them some type of sense that they lead the country in the right direction. Thank you so much, Top FM in Zwedru Grand Judah County. And we are going to be routing the calls from Liberia through Top FM tonight. Because Top FM just provided the local telephone numbers in Liberia. And when we later on go to the phone lines, the two major cell phone companies, the numbers that Top FM has will call us in. With that said, folks, they say when God bless you, don't say that medicine. Don't see okra and swallow bone. Because you can't hide your nakedness from bathing bucket. A bald-headed man does not walk on the moonlight. When women know you from black men. This is the brother who doesn't eat iron. But he's definitely stronger than a lion. My people on Top FM in Zwedru Grand Judah County. I talk where you ma Jimmy Adre o won kro ya duelo ma mo nagwa Jimmy ne mo nyanza ma wo duelo ne wo juo ngiro yo ayo yiro yo. Folks, the medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia, ASHFORD the giant, that now you know me, Garley. Work up. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have our special guest, a very high-profile guest from Liberia. He's the Honorable Senator of MONTSERRADO County. Others call him the Light. Others refer to him as the Game Changer. And please join me, ladies and gentlemen, at this time to introduce to you the Honorable Senator DARIUS DILLION. Honorable Senator, hello and welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, ASHFORD, and thank you for the invitation.
Just so you know, Senator, we are no longer on the outside looking. We're in Liberia now. As we speak now, you are on Top FM in Zwedru Grand Judah County. Not only on Top FM, you're also on Top Television. You're on the Live FM 104.1. You're also on Prime 105.5. You're on Joy 105.1. And you're also on Super FM 95.5. Tomorrow, you'll be on Cool FM 91.9. I've always Let you do the rest of the folks. Honorable Senator, I will give you 1 or 2 minutes to give us your opening statement.
Thank you. Let me again thank you for the invitation. My name is Abraham Darius Dillon. I'm humbled to be the Senator of Montserrado County by the blessing of God and the confidence of the people of Montserrado County, home and abroad. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mr. Senator, uh, a Stafford, a staff of your office that resigned or was fired. Which is which? What happened?
Um, Jacob Jala, you're talking about, right?
That's right.
Yeah, Jacob Jala tendered in his resignation. He worked with us since we became senator. He has been policy advisor to write policy papers um, in the office. He was not an everyday coming to work employee or staff. He was one person who, when we have a budget, we have concession, we have something that we needed to do policy right up on. Um, that was his role. He resigned. We we are sad to see him go, but it is what it is in a democracy. Everybody has the right to freely associate. And there were people who were suggesting that we should dismiss him because of his flirting in the last few weeks or months with folks of the government. I didn't think we should fire him. People should be allowed to freely associate, affiliate, and make their own choices in a democracy. But he thought to resign, and we honor his resignation today. And it is what it is.
How do you handle betrayals? Because you can't be a staff in the office that we have conversation and everybody out there don't know what we say or hear, but you openly come out and support somebody else. Others are saying that your intention was to in fact fire him, but because election around the corner, you try to make it seem like you wanted to keep him. Why don't you think that criticism is valid?
No, the mentality in the country is that when you are in one party in opposition, you are not supposed to be friends with people in the ruling party, vice versa. That is not my political DNA. We're in a strange time where the current administration thinks it is a taboo for you to be in the government and not publicly support anything the government does, even if it runs against your conscience. We cannot be bashing at folks in the ruling party and the government for intimidating people and compelling them to to support just any and everything, and then we be doing the same. If you don't support anything about the government, you don't defend everything about the government, even those things that are not for public good, then the thing you are an enemy, quote unquote, and you are not worth being on the job. You can be considered. If we are bashing at the government for doing that, then it is unfair. It is wrong to practice the same. I didn't intend to dismiss Jacob Jala, not for a second. We will win the election, and after December, if Jacob Jala was still on our staff, he will remain there. Um, so there was no intent, but the thing is, we are so politically polarized to the point where it is them if you do, it is them if you don't. But there was no intent to dismiss Jacob Jala or any member of my staff because of a political affiliation. No, I found on that from day one, all of the time. and I should not be found practicing that. Then it runs contrary to what we preach. And what we preach change, constructive, positive change. And then we cannot be practicing what we preach against and then justifying that other people are doing it. Then there is no change here.
Well, in July of last year, you caused one of the biggest election shocks when you defeated CDC Polito Way in Montserrado County. And after 1 year, Honorable Senator, you may be re-elected for a full 9-year term. What can you say to the Liberian people, your accomplishments and your chances of winning again? The Liberian internet being ready now. Here go. Senator. Senator. The internet causing trouble. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry for the little disconnection there because of network connectivity. We're hoping that the senator will reconnect with us very shortly. As soon as he does, we'll bring him back live. In the meantime, let's take a listen to a few bars of this song, our theme song. As we wait for the senator to reappear, just so you know, I spoke with Mr. George Solo today. And Mr. George Solo told me he wants to challenge anybody who wants to counter him, whether it's Akaras Great or Eugene Fangon. He's ready because Wednesday night, George Solo is coming back to Bridge Radio. And exclusively, he assured us that he'll be on Bridge Radio. So, just so you know, the carpet is out there to Akaras Gray, Eugene Fangon. George Solo told me today that he wants to get in a debate with you guys. I think you know about CDC. Back to base, back to reality. Honorable Senator, I'm pretty sure you got the question, correct?
No, I went off immediately after I spoke about Jacob Jella.
And you caused one of the biggest election shocks in Liberian politics when you defeated CDC Polito Way, the candidate for Mosrado County. After 1 year, Honorable Senator, you may be re-elected for a full 9-year term. What can you say to the Liberian people are your accomplishments and your chances of winning?
Well, thank you. It is a humbling honor for me to be the face on the ticket. I did not cause a big shock last year. It was the doing of God, backed by the people. And in 1 year, in a small way, we have shifted the narrative of our politics. Our politics and our national governance should be about character, discipline, passion to do the work, um, the ability to do the work, integrity on the job, credibility, to raise the people's hope, to get them to believe again or begin to believe again. We campaign on little things, but those things were huge. You have a whole country, no belief system. Some people thought it was just ordinary. We campaign on openness, transparency, and accountability. To be transparent and to be open, to be accountable. When you have a country where there's lack of transparency and accountability, no robust check and balance from the legislature, the legislators in majority
The man going again? Why not jump yourself? Okay. Folks, please bear with us. The senator is here. It is not his fault. You know, he might be going through some connectivity issues. But as soon as the system gets better in terms of the network in Liberia, you hear from the Honorable Senator. Stay tuned. Just so you know, you live from you live on Top FM in Zurich Grand Judah County. You're also live on Prime FM 105.5. You're live on the Joy FM 105.1. You're also live on 104.1. In Monrovia as well. You're live on Super 95.5. Folks, I'm telling you, tomorrow, as of tomorrow, you'll be live on Cool FM. And one of the things I like about Top FM is we cover the entire Southeast. Grand Judah, Grand Crew, Sino, Maryland, River G, and parts of Nema. So that's a good thing. You know, so if you are here and you are thinking about doing some type of humanitarian job in your country, especially when you come from the Southeast, when you come from Bowman, when you come from Cape Mount, when you come from MONTSERRADO, just so you know that through BRIDGERADIO Africa, you will have the opportunity to reach your people in Liberia. With that said, we want to continue with the Honorable Senator. He was speaking, and let us just allow him to continue from where he left to that. Honorable Senator, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. And my apologies for the interruptions. We have, of course, we have poor internet service at times in Liberia. And so, as I was saying, in 1 year, we've been able to get our people rally up to believing that there can be change in the country with the right kind of character in office. We declared our asset before entering office. It is something that is very rare. In fact, I'm the first senator in the history of Liberia especially since we enacted the Code of Conduct and made it legally mandatory for public officials to declare the asset before entering office. Prior to, that is the key word as enshrined in the law. Declare your asset prior to entering office. I declared my asset prior to entering office in fulfillment of the law. I went beyond what the law requires. I published it because it is my view that declaration of asset without it being public, it is like secret. The purpose of asset declaration is to ensure integrity in government. You tell the public what you worth before entering public office. And from time to time, you continue to declare once you are still in that office. The purpose is to ensure that what you came with to while you are in office can be matched with your legal earnings. And if what you acquire while in public office cannot be matched with your legal earnings, then there's problem. And that problem is you can be audited and you can be questioned. And if you are found culpable of breaching the public trust, you can be prosecuted, likely property is confiscated, and all of this stuff. What it does, it helps to minimize corruption in government. We publish our asset. We went beyond what the law requires. We published our asset. Um, we went in the Liberian Senate to do representation and oversight as well. Lawmaking is the key function of a lawmaker, but we don't make laws every day. But we do representation and oversight every day. So I was more focused on the proper oversight, duty, and representation of our people appropriately. We've written over 10 communications in line with our oversight responsibility. We wrote to question the hike in tuition. The Minister of Education was summoned several times before the Liberian Senate. Every time we wrote a communication, put it on the floor, it got on the agenda, it was overwhelmingly voted for. You know, normally I will hear people say Dillon doesn't have friends in the legislature. Everything he does, people go against it. And no, we are in a political theater. Everybody won't see things your way, and you won't see things some people way all of the time. All of the communications we wrote in the before the Liberian Senate, in line with our oversight duty, they were all overwhelmingly received, voted upon by plenary, meaning majority members of the Liberian Senate voted for. Sector heads were summoned before the Liberian Senate on the strength of our communications, so we understand what's happening, so we can put proper things into place in keeping with our oversight responsibility.
Well, Honorable Senator, a few weeks ago, you made reference to the election law of Liberia and indicated that foreign objects are not allowed in voting booths. What exactly are some of those foreign objects and the issues associated with them?
For instance, no camera is allowed in the booth. No camera should be allowed in the booth. With the kind of democracy we're running where people are intimidated and compelled to follow the government's dictates and not the people's free will, if you allow camera in the voting booth, trust me, people will be intimidated to show their vote before they go back to work. People will be intimidated to show their vote before the government can give them contract. And then that is not a secret ballot any longer. The 1 second somebody has to make a decision, and the law requires that it should be secret, it should be secret. It should be left to that person. If the law wanted the ballot to be open, it will allow or it will mandate so, but it mandates secret ballot. And when people are intimidated, people are coerced, people are cajoled into all of those kind of stuff, then you got to take all the precautionary measures to ensure that the people that 1 second freedom they have behind our backs to make a decision as to who governs over them and their future, you should allow them to do it freely. And that is why we insisted so last year, and the Elections Commission saw logic in our argument, and it became a policy backed by the constitutional provision that ballot should be secret. And that is why we talk about gadgets not being allowed in the ballot room, so as not to compel our people to vote on other people's intimidation and details. Let them vote their own conscience, their own choices, and then we live with the consequences.
We're still trying to comprehend why people gravitate towards you. And at the same time, you are a human being. Anybody can get emotional, anybody can be sentimental. But recently, you were criticized for comments you made after you and your supporters were physically attacked at some community rallies. Generally, we do not know you to be associated with violence. So, what really happened?
Look, in a democracy, people should be allowed to freely associate. Everybody should be allowed the space. The law requires free, fair, and transparent election. The field should be level. Understandably, the field is almost never leveled, but at least to the extent possible that the field should be level, it should be level to that extent. What do I mean? The ruling government of the day, whether it is CDC ruling or UP or any other party, any ruling government of the day comes with added advantage. For instance, level playing field. I'm a candidate. There's another candidate. We are supposed to be campaigning. That candidate has still security. I don't have. When the president of the day, whether it is George Weah or another president, chooses to serve on the campaign team of the candidate on the ruling party ticket, which is allowed by law, when that candidate is campaigning along with the president, anywhere the president goes, whether he goes to campaign or not, he's still the president. So when the president is somewhere campaigning, he's there as president as well. That means the roads are blocked, the traffic is stopped. Now, if I have to pass through, or if I have to pass through that area, that means I can't go. That means the field is not level to the extent. These are some of the things we talk about, but understandably, the field cannot be level totally. Now, when I go to campaign, or when I go to interact with my people, and everywhere I go, I'm disrupted, and people are stoned. Nobody gets arrested. We nurse our injuries. And even some of our people who are injured are the ones who are arrested by state security, especially by the police. We got to keep finding lawyers to secure their release. I am tear gassed. I'm in a hall with my supporters, and people, intruders come on, tear gas the hall, and all of this stuff. And there is no arrest. There is no action on part of the government. There is no call on part of the president to calm the situation down. The police is practically helpless because they are taking strict instructions to ensure that we are not safe. The aggressors against us are protected. Then at a certain point, the law of nature had to take place. And it was at one of those points that I made some statements that did not represent me at all, that did not resemble me at all. And a lot of people were shocked. And in our good sense of judgment, we came back, especially so talking about stoning the president's convoy. Those statements were not representative of who we are and who the people know us to be. And so we retracted those statements. We retracted those statements on two grounds. We should not have uttered those statements in the first place. Two, the CDC, as we know, were taking advantage of the fact that we uttered those statements. They were now plotting to stage the stoning of the president's vehicle or convoy to blame it on us because CDC is finding every means.
Now, you have to have facts here. You can't just get up and say the CDC were planning to stone the president's vehicle and blame it on you. Where are the facts? What do we know? What do you know? Maybe you know something that we don't know. Further explain, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a politician. I got people in CDC as well, in the government, deep in the government. Trust me, I know. I know when to go home and when to leave certain place. I got the information. You don't expect them to go to such meeting and take meaning and for me to placard it in the newspaper. But some of these discussions, when they are ongoing, we get telephone calls, we get tip off, we got espionage on them. We got people in their camp to give us information and very credible information as well. If you want, how you call it, scripted, if you want scripted meanings of some of those meetings where they plot, then I don't think you will get them left to the public to believe it or not. But trust me, the CDC will know. Just told you, they threw petrol bomb on Eugene Namwe's home 2011 before the late Geraldine Doe Sheriff died. They attempted to do the same. And every former chairman of CDC that were ousted up in a violent way, have always said that they are responsible for Sabu unit and they are responsible for violence. They always plotted those things. So it's not something strange. CDC is looking for Darius Dillon by all means, to the point where I'm dancing with my wife, celebrating her in my house. They take video of me holding my wife because her back is turned. And they put on the social media. It said Dillon dancing with girlfriend. My wife look at it, we all laugh. They're looking for me by every means. The government buy a vehicle, 40,000, and I'm driving a vehicle, and they say the vehicle is 80,000. They take a house from Nigeria, they take the photo, put it on the social media, and say Dillon building this kind of gigantic structure in Liberia, in Johnsonville. And they're looking for me by any means and every means, and since they can't find a credible means, they use it on orthodox means, and those are some of the things. But, so I retracted the statement. I did not apologize for that statement. I know the difference between a retraction and an apology. I wanted to make that clear.
Mr. Senator, why don't you think the criticism is valid when people refer to CPP as weak, as don't have spine, especially when you hear from the once closest person to the president we have today, that say the chairperson of the election commission is so close to the president. He also referred to the president as philanderer. And the chairperson of the National Election Commission will be making decision as we approach December 8th. And up to now, the people in the CPP, we have not heard anything from them. So why don't you think this criticism is valid, Mr. Senator?
Look, we can understand the emotional sentiment of our people. We in opposition today, we are not insensitive to the environment. Inflammatory comments and some very extreme actions will rock the boat. Everybody can swim. The peace and stability of our country is more paramount to us than any one person being president. Whether we in opposition or not. Those of us who were around during the war days, the civil conflict of our country, we are not oblivious of the fact that sometimes emotional anger can cause a man to think or act irrationally and then the consequences become so unbearing. Just because we are not toting casket, just because we are not burning flags, just because we are not coming through Butuo with guns, should not mean that we are weak. In fact, we are stronger by using better judgment to maintain the peace and stability of our country. Don't forget, election comes with consequences. The choice of the Liberian people in 2017 is the consequences that we are all bearing today. And we can afford to wait for 2023. We can afford to wait for 2023. And if 2023, the Liberian people in a majority in a free and fair election decide to retain the current status quo, we'll live with it. But we will not do anything extremely unorthodox just because we want to show strength. Backwards Matthew, peace be to his ashes, I learned a thing from him. He said they were young, they were excited, they rocked the boat, not considering that everybody can swim. And not everybody had no life jackets. And when they rock the boat, and when the boat starts to capsize, a lot of people got drowned. And if they would have to do it again in their matured age, they will do it differently. We are mature people. We are responsible people. I don't know. When people say we're weak, we issue press. They say you don't speak to this issue. You issue press statement. They say the press statement weak. You issue a press conference and you do strongly worded press conference. They say we're just talking. We'll call for protest. They say we'll only no protest. Should we overthrow the government? No, we won't. We will not. We will replace this government democratically when the time comes. We will not abort or short circuit the democratic flow of our country. Can we demand or call for the president's resignation? Yes, of course. Can the president be impeached? The president can be impeached by law. Do we have the spine as a legislature? Do we even have the numbers to initiate an impeachment proceeding? No. So should we put it on the floor? Wasted effort. So just because you want to prove a point to a no end game, no need to initiate it. And so we continue to do what we can do. We'll continue to hold the government's feet to the fire as best as we can in a democratic fashion. Sometimes we'll be politically robust as to how we go about it. But trust me, I love my children so much. I love my grandparents. They don't have anywhere to run. My daughter is here. And my daughter's generation of children, they are here. 1990, I carry my grandmother on my back from NTA, Canaville to Fendel, walking with my grandmother on my back because she was old enough to walk. She was old enough not to walk. I carried her. I saw the war. I saw people die. I saw people killed. I saw the suffering. I've seen the destruction of our country. The core value system of our country got destroyed as a result of the war. Children started to hold guns. Babies started to give birth to children, to people, to babies. Children started to hold money. People started to claim people's property. They would just come mark your property and say they capture it for them. All kinds of things. We saw it. The fabric of our country broke down, and it is still yet to be restored. So we are not oblivious of the fact that we need to rebuild this country. It's going to take time. And democracy requires that the will of the people will prevail. The majority is not always right, but the majority takes the day. The majority gave us George Weah. We live with George Weah, but meanwhile, as much as we can, to the best of our ability, in keeping with law and the tenets of democratic politics, we hold the government feet to the fire until we can garner the number until we can increase our numbers, especially in the legislature, to do it better.
Mr. Senator, you just passionately spoke about the love for your mother, your grandmother, your daughter. What has been the CPP's actions regarding the mysterious death of 4 auditors within 8 days in Liberia?
CPP, like all of us have spoken, we call for investigation. You know, these kind of deaths, they are scary. They are not only scary, they are troubling. The killing of these 4, or the deaths of these 4 auditors, has sent shock in the spine of the country. It is in the international media. International auditors, Association of International Auditors, are calling on the big world to investigate this matter. Now, this, what appear to be extrajudicial killing should stop. And the only way they can stop, unless they are properly, logically investigated. And if found to be true that they are extrajudicial killing, we should find the killer. We should find the killers and take them to justice. But you see, when you have a situation where people are allegedly or suspected to be killing people for political reasons, like, and the leaving trail for political debate over their bodies, the leaving trails for political debate over people's dead bodies, like the killing, in my view, of Adolph Lawrence, the manner they say an accident occurred.
Was he killed or he was involved in an accident?
In my view, that was the way these deaths are happening, the leaving room for argument. Oh, the accident. Oh, Matthew Innes. Oh, the hit and run. Albert Peters and Gifty. Oh, maybe they were making love in the car. Emmanuel Batten, Nyaswa. Oh, maybe he fell down from a horse. You know, they're leaving all of these trails and things and room and for speculation and arguments. But these people are dead. And the way their deaths are occurring, they're making the country scarier. They're making the place more insecure. And it is time for us to do credible investigation. But when the head of the country, the chief magistrate of the country, the chief executive of the country, calling for investigation and at the same time making insinuations that people who are suspected to be linked to these things not being called in for question or for questioning, or not being treated as persons of interest. But the president, for instance, people said that Albert Peter were probably investigating or auditing MPA. The next day, the president gave his church pulpit to the head of MPA to preach. Albert and Gifty died in the way they died. The president made speculation that whether they were boyfriend and girlfriend, they were not supposed to die. When you do these things, you leave room for speculation, and you're already giving hint to the investigators as to what kind of outcome that we should expect. Who in Liberia, in the security sector in this country, can investigate Bill Trabway as a person of interest if it is true that Albert and Gifty had linked to auditing or investigating MPA books? Who in the security sector can right now call Bill Trabway with the president giving him pulpit to preach, to throw hints, to throw talks, to throw jabs? Who in the security sector can call Bill Trabway? Nobody. Who in the security sector can credibly investigate the death and killing of Emmanuel Batten Niswa after they want to give you the impression that he came home probably drunk and opened a door in his house that everybody who in our house know that door is not ordinarily open. It has not been open for months. To open it, you got to do a lot of work because of the wardrobe and the suitcases and all the stuff that behind it is not a door that is ordinarily, normally open. And who in the security sector? So the CPP has called for investigation. The CPP cannot investigate. The CPP is not the Ministry of Justice. The CPP can only call for investigation. The president now does the normal thing by saying, oh, we're calling on America to come help us with investigation. America cannot be moved or intervene just by any president around the world taking the microphone and say we are inviting America to come help us to investigate. America will only investigate or come to aid an investigation of this nature only if a diplomatic note of that nature is transmitted through the proper channel. I doubt, even as a sitting senator, I doubt, I could be wrong, but I doubt if the president has even done that communication through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs asking for the intervention of America to help to investigate this matter. Also, I'm not too sure, I could also be wrong. I'm not too sure that America just gets up to kind of investigate domesticated crime in another country. For the FBI or any American agency to come investigate crime in another country, it must have been a federal crime that will injure the security, the vital security interests of America. But I wait to see how this plays out and hope that it happens and happens very quickly. But the CPP is strong. The CPP speaks to issues, and the CPP takes action when necessary. We decided to go to court. The government crying while we went to court. We're calling for protest, which is a tenet, T-E-N-E-T, which is a tenet of democracy. Protest, free assembly, to express your grievances and your displeasure over governance issues. We'll call for protest. The government makes it look like war is coming. It will be chaotic. They instill fear in the country. When you don't protest, they say, oh, opposition listen. When you call for protest, you don't like the president and all of this stuff. But we are here. We'll continue to do what we have to do, but mindful of maintaining the peace and stability of our country.
Now, one of the things your critics say you have not been able to do is to work the both sides of the aisle. I listened to you quite recently, and I'm not saying the word for it, but you said something similar like when the Satan invites you to sit down with them, why do you want to sit with the Satan? In the real world, you get out of your comfort zone and reach out to the other side and try to plead with them to call for a common ground. But in this case, critics are saying this is one of your weaknesses.
As in what?
As in not being able to go on the other side. You don't talk to the president. You don't talk to people who believe to be a...
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute right there. Hold on 1 minute. The president is petty. The president of Liberia is petty. The president is not only petty, he's evil. And nothing beats evil. You can be bad, you can be wicked, but when you're evil, it's at the zenith. The president is petty.
The president is evil. That's a strong word.
And let me repeat, George Weah as president, as a person himself, he's evil politically.
And why you say that?
I say that because I know so. When a president decides that he's president for a gang of people and not the Republic of Liberia, cares less about, see the crowd the president wants to be in, the crowd that's clapping for him. The president cares less about the crowd that is not happy. But the crowd that is not happy is also they are also Liberians. When have you seen the president, even when women, girls, children were out there talking about rape? Once they were cheering for the president, he didn't come up. The same time, the president went to CDC headquarters to receive quote-unquote appreciation for CDCians. The president loved to be in the midst of a crowd that is cheering him, even if they're cheering him for the wrong things. The man is clean, evil, and nothing goes beyond being evil. George Weah is. And the Bible says when the wicked rule, the people suffer. When you have a court in the name of a church, when you play in God, you are blaspheming. What else evidence do you want? When you put in all the corrupt people, clearly corrupt people, womanizers, and people who are morally bankrupt, you gave them microphone in the name of playing church to preach and make fun of the country. You are evil. When people are dying and it doesn't break your conscience, it doesn't break your conscience, you are evil. And evil is George Weah. No better way to place it.
Honorable Senator, based on facts thus far, what are some contrasts between the then Unity Party-led government and now the CDC government?
The contrast is that there was democracy here. The practice of democracy was here. CDC and George, led by George Weah, they were toting casket. Samuel Tuer worked with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government at finance ministry. He was taking home $7,500 every month. CDC were burning tires in the street when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf appointed Nathaniel McGill as assistant minister in her government. CDC was blocking the road and throwing stones at government properties when Janka Kowo was working in CDC in UP government. And I can go ahead naming all of the hardcore citizens who were freely working in Ellen government while they were protesting every day and beating at her, beating on her verbally, politically, and making the place like nothing was happening. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was paving miles of roads, connecting county to county. When CDC said she was doing nothing, seditious and people from the ruling party and opposition could intermingle freely. Brother could attend brother funeral, brother could attend brother's occasion. Seditious could freely go to public offices and intermingle with UP officials. They could cuss on the radio, they could deal with Ellen on the radio, and the next day they would walk free in government offices. You can't try it today. You can't try it today. Nobody, people in government office can wear my t-shirt that support me. You try it today, you're fired. You're intimidated, you are suppressed. This is an evil dictatorship that we are on. The country is fearful. The contrast is that there was civilization under Ellen. It is evil under George Weah, because Ellen with all her died allowed democracy to flow. George Weah, with all his pretenses of being homo and Lele Bob led the country, he's evil. And because they are in a court, only people who in a court behave the way these people behave. You must worship the head of the court, or you are doomed to die, or economically suffer, strangulated. You don't even have to work in government. If you open your business and you are an opposition, the seditious in government that worship George Weah will not go to Isha. The country is divided, split in the middle. It's terrible. And it takes the grace of God to keep grace on few people with courage to give the country hope that all is not lost. But terribly, it is terrible in this country to be a critical voice under George Weah administration. And they ain't going to cover some of us into submission. There are some of us who, with the grace of God, they can't cover me, Darius Dillon, they can't cover me into submission. No, there are other people here who they will never cover into submission. Every ruthless ruler or dictatorship that ever came to govern, to rule this country, God always had grace on certain people to keep them in check somehow. Though administration had the council of churches with the Bishop Brown, Bishop Francis, Bishop Kula, Bishop Nan Dixon, the Ellen administration at least had the George Weah, the CDC, and you name it. And the Taylor administration had Bishop Francis and Samuel Kofi rules them. And Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had the coaches and the Weahs and the Carol Grays and you name them, the George Soros. George Weah government won't go free. You will have the Yakets, the Dillons, the Costas, and you name them. Trust me, we here. The grace of God is upon some of us, and we'll continue to keep their feet to the fire.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, this is ASHFORD GARLEY Live. You're live on British Radio Africa. We also want to say a big thank you to our sister relay stations in Liberia. We're live on Top FM in Zwedru Grand County. We're also live on Top Television. We're live on Prime FM 105.5. We're live on Joy FM 105.1. We're also live on Live FM 104.1, and we're live on Super FM 95.5. We want to go to the line now and want to begin from Liberia. We want to go to Top FM. And folks listening can begin calling now. The number to call is 0881 143504 or 0776 105105. Sekou, if you're there, like the callers going through Top FM in Grand County, begin calling now. And again, want to say a big thank you to the senator for taking up time of the busy schedule to honor our invite tonight. And Mr. Senator, as we wait for callers to begin calling, what are some major decisions or actions that the CPP government would have taken differently from that of the CDC government?
First thing, we're going to allow democracy to flow. Two, we're going to practice good governance. We're not going to tamper with the Supreme Court with the kangaroo removal of a Supreme Court justice in the name of Kabina Janet. Because to do so, you kill the independence of the judiciary. You cause lower court judges.
Hold on, Senator. I think we have a call on the line from Top FM. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, tell us your name.
Yes, I'm Steve, and if you're taking calling from section number 15 to this house.
You live on the radio. Go ahead and make a point.
Yes. You know, I listened to the outgoing senator, the elaborated testimony. See, I always tell people there is a difference between opportunity and success. If you listen to the speeches of the outgoing senator, DILLION, he speaks in a manner that he knows nothing, honestly, because how can a senior senator be small-boying himself? Something else in a senator. Trust me, me who is very smart cannot speak the way the senator speaking. I'm going to want to invite the senator to go back to school and see how best Mama Labrador go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller there from Top FM in Liberia. And Sekou, keep getting the callers to call in. And at this time, we want to take another call from the United States. And this time, I believe he calls from the state of Massachusetts. Hello, Dualu. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, the Giant. Mr. Dillon, how you doing, man?
Good evening, sir.
Okay. I've been listening to the show, and we understand our country is in dire straits. But Senator, I want you to understand something. Just because we pray for war not to come doesn't mean war is not going to come.
So why did you just hold on 1 minute, please?
Okay.
No, go ahead, Dualu.
Hello?
Go ahead. Dualu.
Okay. Senator, just because we pray for war not to come, if the very ills of society that bring on war continues in the country, war is going to come to Liberia. We don't reach for it, but this is how history tells us. But I want to ask you a question, Senator Dillon. I know your push in Liberia is for institutional governance. We want to build institutions that we can rely on.
Please.
Okay.
Hello? Oh. Okay. Hello?
Dualu, you might want to speak a little bit louder.
Okay, I'm speaking as long as I can. Okay. And Senator DILLION, my question to you is, your focus is to build institutions in Liberia. And we all agree with you. We understand the only way Liberia can work is through institutional governance, not through relying on an individual. Why are other people not seeing this? That institution is better for Liberia as opposed to relying on an individual to change the conditions in the country. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Dualu.
Thank you.
To Liberia. Top FM. One more call, then we'll go back to the senator. Top FM.
George Emmanuel Dwayne Akop on the 14.
Go ahead, make your point. You're live on the radio.
Yeah, even I would like to speak to the Senator of MONTSERRADO County. You know, it's about time for the senator to be clear to the Liberian people. It's good that he won election 2019, but then President Weah was not evil when he won the election and he gave the seat to him. But now in the time, he is crying because he understands the person who is on the ticket of the medical election for Democratic is no competitor to him. He is far beyond the incoming Senator Thomas Farah. Let him be clear to the people and make them understand that he never make no impact in the House of Senate. A senator will not be crying every day protest, every day protest, every day protest. Let him find a way out. You are saying, President, we are going to break ground to build market in Douala. You're saying that certain people will go build it for that citizen will be selling in Douala market. President, we are building road, other places that citizen will be riding there. Let him be clear to the people. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hold on to the callers. Want to go back to the senator. Please hold on, caller. Want to go back to the senator to respond, and then we'll go back to the callers. I just love this, where my people in Liberia can interact with us while we're here in the U.S. That's a good thing. Go ahead, Mr. Senator.
Thank you. And this is the reason why we keep fighting for our people, including the folks that call from Liberia, the last two callers from Liberia. When you start to celebrate the breaking ground and dedication of a market building, when you start to celebrate the putting on the lighting of 10 light poles to put street light on as a big deal, it only says that we really need to grow. When the system, when we start to institute or put in place governance structures and the system start to work, where we start to use government resources, public resources, the country resources, through the system and for the purpose of developing the minds, the human beings, and the infrastructure of our country, then we will not be celebrating market building. Because you can build all the market building. If the economy is bad and the country is fearful, you will not have investors to invest in the country, and then people won't have money in their hand to go buy for those market building. The president built or renovated Dupo Road Market, brand new, last year. The people there voted for me because the building, as much as they appreciated it, when they put their market down, the economy was bad enough, nobody was buying from them. The president did do community road. The people used the road to go vote for me last year because the road did not do any economic development in the place there. So you see, first thing, in order for people to understand, and we are not limiting ourselves to celebrating market structure, people around the world building shopping malls, and we're celebrating ordinary market structure. It only tells you the mentality of our people that we want to emancipate, to redeem them from. Market ground, street light, we're celebrating. No, when you put structures, governance structures into place, when the systems start to work, and we are disciplined enough to allow the system to work, all these things will flow. Then the patronage system, where you look to government officials to rake from the country, put it in the individual pockets, and then give you small handout and you do Zegwe behind them or Propo Defender behind them. No, you want the system to work so that you benefit from your country because you are only because you are a citizen. Now who you doing Propo Defender behind, or who you singing Zegwe behind. So the institutions should be allowed to work. In order for the institutions to be allowed to work, you need a disciplined people. You need a disciplined people. How do you discipline the people? Start by leadership. The kind of leadership that people see is what they will follow. If the leadership is disciplined, is passionate to do the work, have the right mentality and the character to do the work, trust me, the people will follow. Take simple example. President Weah is wearing purple suit with Scobie. All the people around him now don't wear shoes again, they wear Scobie. Because they're following the leader. If the same leader, the man goes to work 10 o'clock, say people go to work 9:30, 10. If the same leader dresses officially, the people will do. If he makes farm, the people will make garden. If he goes to work 7 o'clock, the people will be at work before 7 because they got to be in office before he gets there. But if he goes to work 11, they will come to work 10:30. Discipline, system, institution, and that's not a Brady market building. I can understand the mentality of our people.
Sekou, you have a call on the line. Let's take them. We'll go to the U.S. callers. Sekou from top, are you there? Okay. If you are based there in the U.S., the number to call is... yeah, go ahead, caller.
I'm /MONTSERRADO, join you from Review community.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead and ask your question.
There you say district number 1.
Welcome to the show.
So much. I want to applaud you for having me on the air tonight.
You're welcome.
You know, I'm very much disappointed in the men I claim to be honorable, but you're not bearing the character of being honorable. You see, Liberia is all we have. So we have to be very much careful of what we say out there. Because what we say out there will have the propensity to disunite our people. Liberia is all we have. You understand? So we have to work collaboratively to make the place to be then to bring chaos in the country. How can you say the president is evil after all those tangible development and things that he carry on a daily basis? Yes, it's evil. It is because other people are not in position. So because of that, they claim me to be the rightful person to be in such a position for which they are taking a position. Yes, indeed. That people are not in position. It's everything I will have. So because of that, they claim me to be development or think about the group of Liberia. They are very much disappointed in them of being a permanent station of the force. Because of our ambition, selfish ambition, we shouldn't lead the country in a wrongful path. Remember, there is a saying I say that if you cannot help me, please do not hurt me. You understand? Inch by inch, raise up the national flag. Small, we're going to get to where Liberia is going, to be on the top.
Thank you.
So all we have to do is to work together as a Liberian.
Thank you so much. Wonderful come to the welcome to the show.
Hey, ASHFORD, good evening.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, Senator, it's nice listening to you from Pennsylvania.
Man, the feedback is bad.
I'm listening to you from Pennsylvania, and I'm quite worried about the prevailing situation in Liberia. It is quite difficult to see how, just for instance, investment is going to come of the level of insecurity that we find in the country.
I'm not getting that call. The feedback is so bad.
It appears. Hello, can you hear me, ASHFORD? All right, can you hear me now? All right. Well, the concern I have for and I'm listening to the senator. It appears as though Liberia is degenerating very quickly to a dictatorship that is not giving an image.
Sekou, do you have a call on the line there? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to the senator and the people of Liberia listening both in and out. The senator made some claims against the president. Said that the president is evil, but wanted to provide some proof to substantiate his claim. That is one. Two, he said that this government heavily criticized Mononserrado government yesterday. So they today are going to hold this government, they are going to hold the feet of this government to the fire, which is very much correct. But my question to the senator is, what can they do as the opposition community? Or what can they suggest to this government to better off the life of the ordinary people? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, one more caller, and we'll go back to the senator from Liberia. Hello, caller. Caller from Liberia. Hello.
Don't worry, you're soon getting. Don't worry, we'll soon get you the call.
Okay, Mr. Senator, go ahead.
Thank you. The last caller wants me to say.
Hold on, Senator, please. Go ahead, make your point, caller.
Michael Bigley, my name.
Okay, you have 1 minute, please.
Okay, yes. When the senator responded to the last two callers, when he made mention of President William built roads and the people walk on the road and went to vote, they voted for him in 2019 election. President William built the market in the same, renovated the market in the same market, they voted for him. That is a clear scenario that he should say in the left by saying President William evil. President William did all that development, and yes, people vote for you, and the result came on. He never fought you. When he was starting to reconcile the statement. When you're discussing the reconcile, hello? When you're discussing the reconcile statement by Eddie government was this, and we are government was this, what you should be saying is that during Eddie time, they were giving scholarship to people who now deserve a wonder in the DILLION. And we see scholarship in the country and went in America and start living life here in some moving here and then we're not going to school, but this government is giving scholarship to students that deserve it and people that benefit from it.
Okay, thank you. Your 1 minute is up. Thank you so much. And Siku, put a hold to the callers, and we'll go back to the senator. Honorable Senator, go ahead, come in.
Thank you. So the show is proceeding well. Once you touch George Weah directly and his being evil, you get all of the clan, the people in the court come out, and exactly how we succeeded tonight. The president is evil, and the evil has engulfed the land, and it takes the grace of God to keep the courage in some of us to keep the government feet to the fire. Somebody asked, what suggestions opposition have given the government? Constructive suggestions. You were here. Suggestion number 1, don't do Eton deal. It is bogus. What did they say to us? Eton and Igbo math. What did they say to us? That was a suggestion. Don't do it because it is bogus. It is not good for the country. No country borrows from an individual or group of individuals. Countries do borrow from financial institutions recognized in the world or bilateral borrowing. But George Weah and his gang decided to go borrow from unknown sources. No credibility, no integrity, no record. Don't do Eton and Igbo math deal. Those were suggestions from opposition. What did they say to us? We are enemy of the state. Don't remove Kabina Janet from the Supreme Court bench, because to do so, you will instill fear in the rest of the judges and the lower court judges. If you can remove a Supreme Court judge, the way you remove Kabina Janet, what are you telling the honored judges that the president can fire at pleasure, especially the magistrate? You know what happened? After they removed Kabina Janet the way they did, against our constructive advice, when Henry Costa radio station, Voice FM, was shut down the way it was, they took it to court. The magistrate who was courageous to say the government proceeded wrongly, they removed the judge the same evening. The same evening. Which other judge you think will render very render judgment in keeping with his conscience and the dictates of the law? When anything you do, once it is within the details of your conscience and in keeping with law, they're going to come after you. That's being evil. Suggestions, don't do Eton deal and Igbo math. No. Mr. President, don't build houses from questionable money. Mr. President, account for $25 million mop-up exercise. Mr. President, account for stimulus package $25 million. These are constructive suggestions. Mr. Cummings from CPP made constructive suggestions on how we can revive the economy. First thing first, in order to revive this economy, the political governance of the state must be conducive, that will attract the attention of investors. How? In economics, there is a branch in the study of economics they call the politics of economics. Under that branch, it talks about governance of the state. If the state is not being properly governed, where respect for the rule of law is a priority, trust me, all other things will crumble. Because if investors are being duped by powerful politicians who control the judiciary, when somebody comes to invest here and they are duped, where do they run to for rescue, to restitute, or to get refund of their money? That's to the court. And if the courts are being controlled by the very powerful politicians who dupe them, they will not invest here. So when you injure the judiciary against the advice, the constructive advice from opposition, then you have the kind of economy that we have. Nobody come here to invest as a result of you got to bloat the government payroll with apologists of the ruling party, because the private sector is not expanding for these very partisans to get jobs in the private sector. Then when you bloat the government payroll, you got to quote unquote harmonize people's salary as in reducing it, just to compensate for the people you added on the payroll. And then within time, because no investments, now booming, then you start to owe civil servants and other sectors months and months in salary arrears. So when we make these suggestions, we are not making these suggestions to make the government bad or to look bad. We're making these suggestions so that the country can flow, because when the country is stable, when the economy is okay, it will be okay for everybody. The government of the day will get the credit, of course. But the government of the day thinks to give them constructive advice is another means by which you are exposing their limitations, and they have insecurity of their limitations. So when you give them advice on things that they're doing wrongly, and you give them constructive advice to come back on track, they think you are exposing their limitations, and they have fear of insecurity of their limitations, and then they are arrogant about going about it. So you're talking about suggestions from the opposition. I can give you 100 constructive suggestions we've given to this government, none of which, when Ellis coming to the suggestion to the government in a paper, transmitted to the marshal, helping us how we can revive the economy. What was the official response on the government executive marshal website? They told Ellis coming to go sell Coca-Cola. They said the president needs strategy to run the government. That was the official response from the government. When they're failing, then they ask opposition, what kind of suggestion you're bringing? Or bring suggestion, then they don't take it. We'll keep these people feet to the fire.
Okay, now I want to say a big thank you to Top FM. We are now going to turn the call-in numbers to the people here in America. And just before we open the line here in America, Honorable Senator, earlier this year, you stated that the Liberian economy was in the toilet. And I'm pretty sure you remember that because of the government's bad economic policies. What is the current economic condition now in Liberia? And do you foresee improvement in the economy anytime soon?
The current economic situation, the economy is stuck in the septic tank. It's no longer in the toilet. It's stuck in a septic tank. We need sewage system to flush it out. And that sewage system I'm talking about is figurative. We need innovation. We need to have respect for the rule of law. We have to have fiscal discipline. We have to do very, very reasonable budget, and not overly ambitious budget to give an impression that the economy is growing when it is declining. Nothing is moving here. People, every sector is crying for salary arrear or non-payment of their salary. The economy, the president just goes and build market structure or potent labor on, and his apologists and people from his court, they go haywire and say the tangibles, the first tangible we need in this country to start off, the first set and kind of tangibles we should be looking for in this country is character. Character. People think tangible is just infrastructure development and these things. You need character, strong character, people with principles, passion, discipline, those kind of credentials to occupy public offices, to start to put structures in place so the system can start to work. And within time, the entire country will start to benefit when we start to have respect for the rule of law, when we allow the judiciary to operate independently and freely. When men and women of courage occupy the legislature, the president will be in check. And when the president is in check, because you have men and women of courage in the legislature to do what we call check and balance, and the judiciary is allowed to operate freely and independently, the economy, the country will boom. The economy will start to expand when we start to discipline ourselves, respect for the rule of law, and not having the law honor us. You see, the law, there is a reason why there is a black cloth on all the face of the statute at the court, meaning justice is blind. Justice should not be able to see, because every time justice has the ability to see, there's a tendency for it to be biased. So the law should not be determined by who goes before it. The law should be determined by what appears before it, what is right or what is wrong, not who is right or who is wrong. When the law starts to see, when justice starts to see, that's when it can render judgment based on who is right or who is wrong. But when justice is blind, it renders justice on the basis of what is right or what is wrong. And when justice is rendered on the basis of what is right, and you are on that side, you rejoice, you benefit from it. And when it's handed down on the basis of what is wrong, and you find yourself on the wrong side, you face the consequences. But right now, justice can see in Liberia, so it's selective, and then it is weak, and it is powerless, and because it is being intimidated, it is being threatened, and you go nowhere. So the economy of our country is stuck in a septic tank. We need a serious sewage system to flush it out.
Okay, at this time, we want to go back to the telephone line. At this time, yeah, in America, we'll take 5 callers at a time. Then we'll go back to ADD. And we have the last 4 digits of your number, 8790. Tell us your name.
Hey, Mr. Carter, how are you?
How you doing? Tell us your name and where you call us from tonight.
Yeah, this is Solo calling from New York.
Welcome to the show. And if you are in queue and you're not speaking, please mute your phone. If you are in queue, if you're on this line and you're not speaking, please mute your phone, folks. Mute your phone, please.
Let me say, I listened to the senator and saying that the president is evil. But the same senator, once upon a time, when the president came out and said, during Chancellor regime, I don't know what he did to the people, and they wanted to kill him. And was the same president the one that rescued him by taking him to the house for safekeeping? And the people were able to see him, and he survived that accident. So if you say a man is evil, but he can save your life, then how you look at a man, you call him an evil man as one.
Let me answer that person right away.
And
Let me answer that person right away. Let me answer that person right away.
Sir, go ahead, Mr. Senator.
The president lied. L-I-E-D, all in capital letters. The president lied. He did not save my life because I was not fleeing from nobody. Everybody was fleeing from the war. The Eugene Namwe, the lecturer who running, we all were running to Habel from World War II, World War III. Was seeking refuge at Habel, and we passed the night over at the president's place because we were all friends. You understand? And I passed the night there, and the next morning we were on our way. We left. And this is the one thing, but the president never tells people that he came to my house for me to show him appreciation. Fleeing from Charles Taylor, what did I do to Charles Taylor? George Weah lied. I said the man is evil. Everybody who around George Weah, who probably have left him for whatever reason, tell you the same thing, that he's evil. And since I said to Ned that George Weah is evil, that the only thing that people hinging on, they're not talking about the misrule, the bad governance, the poor economy. They're not talking about those things.
But why would the president?
They only talk about why you say the president evil, that it won't touch them. Let me repeat, George Weah is evil, and nothing passes by evil.
But why would the president lie on you, Dillon?
Because the president is just a petty liar.
Okay, we'll go back to the telephone line. We have
when in a country did anybody hear that Charles Taylor was looking for me? For what? When? The president lied. He's just a petty liar. And people who worship him don't let you to tell him the truth. The president is evil and a petty liar.
The last 4 digits of your number, 3581.
Hello?
3581. Tell us your name.
My name is Sam. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I caught that person who was making that noise. Yeah, go ahead. Sam, go ahead. Ask a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's more for narration a little bit. It's to the senator. I mean, the senator sounds very unhinged.
You have 1 minute, please.
I know that. The senator sounds very unhinged. And I think he needs to be very careful when he speaks, because there are gullible people out there that are listening. And he needs to be a little bit responsible with his diction. He is a senator. And therefore, he has to understand that his words matters. He's speaking very unhinged, calling the president. He's sounding more like Yeke Koloba. And he needs to understand that when he sits on a public platform and speak the way he's speaking, indirectly, he's inciting other people to say worse or do worse. So he has to, I think that's one thing Liberian leaders needs to be very mindful of their words. You know what I mean? You cannot let your anger guide you. You have to guide your anger. And the senator is sounding more, towards that. And I just want to caution him to understand that no matter how angry you are, you have to tame down your anger.
Thank you.
Because you're a leader.
Your time is up. Thank you.
And honestly, I'm not angry. I'm just saying the truth. And
you answer after the next order. Mr. Senator, you will answer after the next
caller.
caller.
No, let me be clear, because I don't have time to waste.
After the next
I'm not angry.
Mr.
I'm not angry. I'm only saying the truth. The president lied on me, and the president is evil, and the people don't let go hear it. And I will keep saying it.
Wait, smoke, Mr. Senator, you come in. Y'all told you lie.
Thanks, ASHFORD, and I want to say welcome to the senator. I am satisfied with the work he's done. I have one major concern and question for the senator as a supporter. We expect our leaders to tell us their plan before they take office. Senator, be willing to go into a debate with T5?
If I'll be willing to debate?
No. What they said, yes, a debate. I think the senator should accept our proposal for us to challenge T5 head on. And let's see.
I went to a debate last year. In 2009, I debated with Alaji Koma, Wilson Tapper, you name the cream of the people, Clementiu Ure, who in a reason that I would not want to debate with.
Thank you.
I'm prepared to go to the debate.
Dodi, you're live. Go ahead and ask a question, Dodi.
Yeah, Loli, this is not a question, but this is appreciation from me to the senator. Senator Dillon, thank you very much. This is your big brother, but thank you. I heard a lot of Liberians calling from Liberia through the instrumentality and the effort of my dear beloved brother, ASHFORD GARLEY. I think Liberia is not going nowhere. We need to go to school. We need to go to school. And the old man that just called, the old man said right here in America, this is what touched my heart, and I'm coming on. The old man said right here in America, excuse me, Lodi, people call Trump any kind of way in this country.
And tonight I will tell you, listen, Dodi, tonight I will tell you, people in Liberia listening to all that, they get smart trainer. Anybody who calls here tonight, that will be different. You mean I will ban you from this station? You're not calling here again. You express yourself, but you be professional and respectful.
Okay, people in America call Trump liars, call Trump this. If the senator is speaking his mind, calling the president liar or telling the president he can lie, it doesn't mean anything. That's not using, some kind of language on the president to say the president is, he said, and I'm quoting him, he's there, the president is a liar. He's a liar, me is like, what's about all the killings that going on in Liberia and the president standing in his church? So what's about the life of the Liberian people? Are we not important? And people say all type of things. Look, Senator DILLION, I said it last time on ASHFORD GARLEY show, or Seku show, that you will win 400,000 votes, magic, in Liberia for us to beat Sir Joseph, Thomas Fowler.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Dodi.
These are the kind of people we need.
Yeah, I think we gave you too much time, said. Yeah, they think, we gave you too much time. The person I come by again. Okay. 93. I beg your pardon. 9434. Tell us your name.
Yes, as for my name is Moses Colley. I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
You're live on the radio. Go ahead and ask a question. You have just 1 minute, please.
Okay, thank you. I strongly agree with Mr. DILLION about the institution and the system being broken. The system in Liberia is so broken down, and the infrastructure, all of the things outside of Monrovia are very, very horrible. I left from there about 20 years ago. When I visited Phoebe, where I was born, and I was from Sinye, I couldn't find my way from the main road to my hometown. The motor road are all blocked up. It looked like a jungle road. I couldn't see the hospitals, building. They are all swollen up for bridges. I walked through corridor that used to be like America. I couldn't even see some of the dormitories. They are all swollen up. I went to called G.W. Gibson.
You have 30 seconds. 30 seconds, sir.
Yes. All deplorable. The system outside of Monrovia is so destroyed, and it's so destroyed to the extent that we Liberians are so confused that we don't know the way forward. We only know the way backward.
Thank you. Okay, we have 0137. Please tell us your name.
Oh, yeah. My name is William Kennedy.
Hey, Kennedy, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Go ahead, ask a question. 1 minute, please.
Yeah. Okay. Profile. I just want to say congratulations first to our Q5. Talking about T5, but this man, original Q5, we know from how long it has been. From my home time, I just want to commend you for your work, your hard work. You should want to keep pressing on. You have people who know the importance of life that are listening to you, that are following you, and giving all support that we all can. When they don't stick to the president being evil, people who just don't understand will never get to understand. That's what my mom always said. Liberian people were that kind of stupid people. A few days ago, there are 4 senior officials in the Korea government that was killed, or whatever killed the people. The next day, the president was getting those zombies. That was kind of people. People don't get that. Well, give us accountability. People who do CDC. A lot of people just can't think how many people want to go in poverty. Their children are suffering. They're going to die in poverty.
20 seconds.
And somebody is there showing us as Liberian people of this is for the time that we need to wake up. We have so many leaders who have still us, but we can if we wake up together as Liberian people and put the country first instead of worshiping an individual, we can get there.
Thank you.
So
okay. Hello, caller. Tell us your name.
Who that? Which one?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, the one I say, who's that? Which one are you are talking to?
Okay, this is Ali. As for how you doing?
What's up, my man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, let me first of all say, before I ask my question, let me compliment the Honorable Senator Darius DILLION, the former 1 minute runs off. Darius DILLION, thank you so much for your job well done. You know, on most of my podcasts, I try to redefine the word education to our Liberian people so that they will understand. Most people believe that when you have PhDs and double PhDs, you're educated. But Darius DILLION have shown to people that you are more educated than a lot of them with double PhDs. I mean, the way you analyze articles that were written by so-called scholars and even the law practitioners that are in the Senate cannot define and explain the articles of the Constitution to the Liberian people in manner in which they understand. I congratulate you a lot. See, the everyday activity in Liberia reminds me of the great Jamal Sankara of Burkina Faso. I mean, you're down to earth. For you, it's not about how much material resource you can accrue over the years, it's how much you can serve people. If we can have 10 people in a house, or Senate, just 10, that would be like Darius DILLION. The purpose of going to the house is to serve. If we can have that, Liberia could be on the path to a better place. But Mr. DILLION, Jeremiah Salante, I have two questions. Jeremiah Salante.
No, you have only 15 seconds. So ask that one question so we can let you go. Got plenty of people in line. I beg you.
Okay, you feel taking money from 15 seconds. But anyway.
No, you use all the time to build all your parable. So you got 10 seconds now. Go ahead.
Jeremiah Salante has seemed to put a big hole. If it's where or not, we acknowledge it. Jeremiah Salante is putting a serious problem down as far as how many CPP or other opposition political candidates can be able to win come the by-election. What strategy are you guys putting in place as to cover this kind of injury that has already been caused? So since I only got one question, I'll stop there for now.
Thank you. Somebody asking me why I can't pin the number. The people already gave me a hard time. The pin number, they calling it there. I producer, I produce assistant, I do everything myself. Then at the same time, asking questions. A small thing here, then I'm a pin number again. Hello, caller. The last 4 digits, number 9788. Tell us your name.
Yeah, hello, Garley. This is Big Nelson calling from South Korea.
Okay, go ahead. You live on the radio. Ask your question, please. You got 1 minute.
Mr. DILLION, we know that you are a member of CPP and also you support the COP, right? And it was the protest organized by the COP that brought you at the Senate. So now we heard a lot of threatening words about protests, this and that, disturbances, gathering in corners to disturb if you are not re-elected, because we sedition know your term is out. So I want to know, Mr. Vacation Senator, do you still support the words and all the utterances coming from Heron Costa? Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Senator, we'll take 2 more callers, then you go back to you. We have Moses on the line. Moses, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Garley. I will just be fast because of time. I'll run straight into my questions and my concern for the senator here. My first question would be, how soon can we, the public, look forward to the CPP framework? Honestly, we think that it is overdue. I personally think so. How soon can we look forward to that? The second thing is, what can the CPP do in terms of, listening to the senator, he said the CPP have communicated, they've done what they had to do. But the CPP have, I would say maybe in general, the Senate and board, how can they work their way to influence these senators to make sure we get the numbers so that some of these cases, let's say, for example, the passport saga, people have forgotten about it. Some of them have forgotten about it, but this is great. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Moses. Thank you so much. Thank you, Moses. Orlando Chenoweth.
Hello, Mr. Senator. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my brother, I know the last time when it comes to the code of conduct, you said that you were going. I think you're going to put a bill or do an amendment where, like officials of government don't have to wait. Resign 2 years before they begin to run for position in the Senate or representative. But what I want to recommend or ask you a favor is to go one step further to also include where a certain representative or certain senator, before they run for another position, let them resign their existing position. Because right now, if you look at how many certain representatives now running for senator, why their seat, they keeping their seat. And then when they get re-elected, government has to spend another money to fill their seat. I think it's really been robbing the country.
Okay. Mr. Chenoweth, the last call.
Let me pick up from there. No, too many.
Okay, too many. Okay, let me. No, Mr. Senator, the people call you at the band wishing to get a piece of you. Let us take this last caller. He's 0288.
Yes, thank you, Asha. Thank you, Senator DILLION. I want to tell you so many things. I want to tell you, you're doing a great job in the Republic of Liberia. Liberians in Liberia, most Liberians they know what they know. And it's a strong word. Market hall that people worshiping today, that's who's supposed to build market hall, hall or market building. That's superintendent of the country responsibility. And a president of the country is building market hall, passing it around, and people dancing, and people think there's a development. Liberia, they know what they know. Senator DILLION, continue the good work. I don't want to take much of your time. I just want to say, my name is Senator Zali. I just want to applaud you for the good job you're doing. Some of us will follow you every day, and one day we'll be there. Liberia will be a better country. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, folks, please stop calling out. Nobody should call now. I beg you. Let her go to the senator. He is overwhelmed. He has a lot to say. Go ahead, Mr. Senator.
You know, I'm enjoying my friends from CDC who calling tonight.
Yeah.
Some calling me vacation senator. Some calling me fake. Did I see anyone say the president is liar than one thing? The president is a liar. And when I was growing up, our discipline was when you are a kid and you think an older person said something that was untrue, our parents trained us to say the person telling story. They say him watching the person. They say when I say that lie, just say the person is telling story. I mean the person is lying. That's another way of saying the person lying. Well, I'm a grown-up man past 50. When somebody lie, there's no better way to say that the person lied than to say that the person lied. We are not used to truth-telling in the country. So truth-telling looks like it is a taboo. And when we take the president or public officials to be God, to tell them that the lie sounds like you have offended God. And George Weah is no God, he's president. He's a human being like myself. I'm a public official. The president is head of the country, but it does not stop me, or it should not discourage me or prevent me from saying the truth to the president when the president lied. The president lied that he saved my life. I was running for child stealer. I'm gonna say he telling story. I'm not a child to say he telling story. I'm an adult to say he lied. With both faces too. And it is that kind of courage citizens don't have to tell George Weah that he lied when he lied. The caller before the last struck some issues. I've drafted some bills, which I will submit in January when we return. When we return in January, I will be there as a senator. 2 amendments. We'll look at the code of conduct, the provision that calls for people in the executive to resign their job 2 years to an election that they want to participate in. I think that is not fair. I think that is not democratic. If the person is in the executive and holds certain category position in keeping with the code of conduct, and they want to contest, when the person submits their nomination to Elections Commission and their nomination is accepted, then they can resign at that point. But for somebody to resign his or her job 2 years to a scheduled election, I think it's unfair. And you don't do laws to target people. If we in the legislature can run anytime we want to run, stay in office and run for office, then people in the executive should be given that same fair share, that leverage. So we drafted the bill. Upon our return in January, we submit that bill so we can amend that provision of the Code of Conduct that people in the executive under the Code of Conduct should not be made to resign 2 years prior to contesting in an election that they want to contest in. They should resign from their job upon Elections Commission accepting their nomination. That would make sense. 2, the very Code of Conduct, we want to amend the provision that mandates declaration of assets, and it is left there. We want to amend the law to allow a mandate for publishing the asset so that the public know who you declaring your asset to. Should it be secret? Publish your asset. The president said he can't publish his asset because for security reasons for his children. For God in heaven's sake, when you become a public official at that level, you are suspending or you are depriving yourself of certain things. You have become a public property. We want to know how you came in government, your economic worth, so that we can determine your acquisitions in government and where we can match it to your legal earnings. But when the president said because of his children, he can't publish his asset, then you are undermining the essence of asset declaration. You are also undermining the fight against corruption. You are undermining integrity and credibility in government. So I'm going to be calling for amendment of that provision so that we can go beyond only declaring assets, but to also publish it, so that we can have a system in place that can verify what is declared. Because people can just submit paper to the Election Commission or to NACC and say that my asset. No system in place to verify whether the person is lying or not. We want all of these things put in place. Lastly, so the caller is suggesting that we put in place a law that says members of the House of Representatives should be barred or prohibited from contesting to be senator because of the economic condition in the country. I see it otherwise. Let me tell you how I see it. The man in the House who wants to be senator is exercising his constitutional right. If you know the man being elected as a senator will create a by-election that will cost the country unnecessary spending, why the man is exercising his right to contest, why don't you exercise your right to vote against him? When you vote against him, he will remain in the House. But if you vote for him, then you are agreeing to create a by-election, and then you are agreeing for us to spend the money you said are unnecessary spending. We should be careful not to craft laws that will deprive people of their rights under the law, fundamental and constitutional rights. I don't buy that idea that people in the House should be barred by law from contesting to become senator. I don't buy it. I think good judgment, prudence should play here, that as a sitting government crying for economic issues, then you encourage 8 to 9 persons on your ticket to run. If all of them win, you are creating room for by-election, and then time comes to fulfill the constitutional provision to fill those seats in a by-election. Then you say no money. It was poor judgment, poor leadership judgment that caused you to allow those people to run on your ticket, knowing that if they win, there will be room for by-election, and you don't have the money to do by-election to honor the Constitution. So my view on this, the people in the House who are running, they have the right to run. The people who got a voting card in their hand have the right to deprive them. To say, I elected you representative, the time is not over, so you just sit down right in that house, I'm voting against you. Period. When a man in the House exercising his right to want to be senator, you get your voting card, exercise your right to vote somebody else to be senator, that person will remain in the House, and there will be no by-election. And that's how I see that.
Honorable Senator, I spoke with Jefferson Koji this morning, and I invited him to come to the show because George Solo is coming back on Wednesday. And George Solo is saying that he wants people in the government, Akaras Gray, Jefferson Koji, Molba Molu. He wants somebody, Eugene Fangon, he wants somebody to come and debate with him on the issues. He's ready. George Solo has given the exclusive rights to British Radio Africa that he will only appear on here to talk to the Liberian people. That's number one. Number two, before I go to the caller, there are some people that are running against you. I have invited them to come to this platform. They say they have tangibles. For 12 years, they were in the opposition. They build roads. They build schools. They have over hundreds of people on scholarships. And the true job are you? The true job are you saying you don't even have 30 people on scholarship. Then you call yourself a leader. You call yourself a senator. But just before you respond, let us go to Sam Jackson. Sam, you live on the radio.
Yes, Senator Darius Dillon, this is Samuel Polifius Jackson. I'm very, very pleased to hear your good voice and your deliberation on matters in the country. Look, when you say that George Weah is
SPJ, good evening, big brother. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, when you say George Weah is evil, you remember Darius Dillon a few years ago or many years ago. I think he was not even senator, and I had said something. I had criticized him as a political leader, and there was a football field somewhere out there in Painesville going somewhere toward rehab, and I met you, and you said, "My man, look, don't go near the man because the man will not even say hello to you." So I needed to go near him, and exactly that as you warned me, he refused to shake my hand. So
I know him. He's petty.
Yes.
I know him. He's petty.
Yeah.
Very petty.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very, very petty. Okay. Look, on the other thing when people say, "But what have you all done in terms of recommendations?" I went to Liberia. I spent nearly 6 months of my cancer-stricken self in that country, and we organized a national economic dialogue. We brought in a cross-section of stakeholders from finance, from banking, from the civil society. We brought in professors, we brought in every imaginable professional you could bring in that country, including Dr. McIntosh. And we came out with 17 recommendations. So for those people who are asking, why don't you ask the technical economic management team under Samuel Tue and George Weah and the others, what has happened to the 17 recommendations that were made from the National Economic Dialogue? And once they give you an answer, because it's been more than a year now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Go ahead, Honorable Senator.
Yeah, you wanted me to hit home something. So what was it?
You heard it.
If I heard Sam Jackson?
You heard Sam Jackson, and before Sam Jackson, there are people who are running against you.
Okay, right.
They have tangibles. They're building schools. They're building schools.
Yeah.
They for 12 years they were in the opposition, but they managed to find a way to work with the ruling establishment, and they were very successful.
I got you.
Go ahead.
I got you. Thank you. In Liberia, we are teaching our people, and we are trying to change the mentality of our people that you get in public office, you use public money, you get your private property, and then you list it as tangible. That's stealing from the people. That's stealing from the people. That's not tangible. First thing, the first tangible, the kind of tangible that we should start looking for in this country now, so that we can have the durable tangible that we're talking about for good, is the tangible that we call character. Why I hear people say, Thomas Fala got school? That's true, he has school. We moved him from the legislature today. Those schools belong to the public? Is that a public asset? Is that what you call tangible? If I have to steal from the people to build my private school, and then I rake from the people children in the community or in my district, and they're paying school fees for us, to me, and I'm going to my private account to deposit, and they call that tangible.
Senator,
I don't want that tangible.
How did he steal
My
from
tangible I brought to my tangible I brought.
How did he steal from the people?
Because I have the evidence. The evidence is clear. Thomas Fala of the Montserrado County Legislative Caucus. Thomas Fala and I account for China Union money. Thomas Fala took money from county development money when Grace Brown was superintendent to do T5 Academy. The records are all there. The checks all over the place. They forced Grace Brown to resign, harass her on her early administration. And I hear these people and both of Thomas Fala been in the legislature for 15 years. That's true. Very true. Out of the 15 years, 12 years with Madam Salif and 3 years with George Weah. Thomas Fala voted for and ratified Eaton deal, Iboma deal, all the bad deals. You hear citizens say, under Ellen Johnson Salif, the government passed 68 concession agreement, and UNE 2 met the benchmark for best practices, and the legislature passed 66 bogus agreement. Where was Thomas Fala? He was there. He voted for. CDC protested against the sale of or leasing of block 13 with Robert Salif and Madam Salif. And Thomas Fala then voted for the leasing of all block 13. What's the tangible these people talking about? When you rob from the country and you build your private asset, and when you are not in public again, and then those things are yours privately, and then the public don't have asset or to those tangibles, quote unquote. Man tangible I bring to the table that CDC cannot bear is the tangible of character. And it is the kind of tangible this country needs now to rebuild, to restore the core value system of our country, to build systems that ASHFORD GARLEY as a citizen can tap on and benefit from only because he's citizen, notwithstanding whose feet he's kissing. Today is something that was inherited. We have patronage system in the country. So you got to kiss the president's feet. And even some of our friends in America who want Georgia or Georgia government, they dare not say any comment on social media against Georgia. They would never come to Liberia and get the job they want. So they got to kiss their feet, his feet, including with the education that they have. Tangible, man-tangible, that George Weah and their gang cannot penetrate. It's the tangible of character, not the tangible of stealing from the people and building one or two structures and call it tangible. President Totman was president. He built Totman. He built JFK. He built RIA. He built Freeport under his administration. Those were public assets. Since he been dead, those assets been for the public. But Totman was also president. He acquired Totman Farm for himself. Since he's been dead, has Totman Farm been turned over to the public? Why should we be praising public officials for their private acquisitions in office, taking advantage of the public's gullibility and the loose system we have here? You remove Thomas Fala today, T5 belongs to Thomas Fala and his family. It does not belong to the public. That is not public asset or tangible one can talk about or boast about. Man tangible in 1 year is the tangible of character, to put the light on, to constructively disrupt the negative wrongs that have been accepted and normalized in the country, for our people to see the light and turn leaves, for us to start to take a new page so that our country can start to change. That's man tangible. But they continue to use that kind of tangible. They used to use stealing $1,000 from them, giving them $50 when they say, then they praise you, not knowing that you deprive them of $950, but they don't know or they don't care. We will open their eyes to that.
Mr. Senator, time has caught up with us. And I just want to say a big thank you for taking off time to the business schedule to stay with us. You know, your first major appearance on BRIDGERADIO Africa tonight, Top FN, Live FN, Prime, Joy, Super. And listen, I believe it is a blessing, but God bless you. God bless the people of Liberia. And as always, this station does not support the opposition or the ruling establishment, just how we hosted you tonight, we'll also be willing to host Thomas Fowler and the rest of the other politicians that want to come here and tell the Liberian people what they intend to do for our country. Finally, your parting comment, Honorable Senator. Mr. Senator?
Well, thank you so much, Alpha, and thank you to all your viewers. I see more than 1,000, almost 1,002 persons viewing. Thank you to all the radio stations in Liberia relaying this podcast or broadcast tonight. I want to thank you for hosting us, asking the tough questions. I thank the callers, those who are for or against, those who took the time to listen. We hope we spoke to some hearts today. We know we can speak to every heart because there's some strong-hearted people who have already decided that no matter what you say, they have decided already. And it doesn't make sense to them. They know you're talking the truth, but because they are in a court, yeah, they look at you, say the teenager talking the truth, but I'm forced to say he's lying just to please or to satisfy my requirement of being in the court. I can understand all of those things, you know. So we want to thank you. We want to say a special thank you to the people of MONTSERRADO County, our friends of DILLION, home and abroad, our mothers, all of our supporters, public and silent. We bless God for the gift of courage and grace to stand up. In this country, truth-telling is a huge deal. We are used to lies. I go to campaign and I tell the people, for instance, how can I come to you and say, make me senator and I will face your role in your community, and you ask me to play you living, how the role looking? If I can face the role to my own, I will face your facing role is the function of the executive. When lawmakers are serious in majority, then they can do proper oversight and that can ensure that the executive will fix the road, that the executive will build the hospitals and improve them, that the executive will implement and improve the education sector. Lawmakers don't build schools. Lawmakers don't build roads. No one Liberian individual can build road privately. John Weah was supposed to have $80 million. For 30 years, he was living on a dusty road. The day he became president, we sent public works machine with government money to go pave his road. For 30 years, he was supposed to be a millionaire. To pave the road going to a house, less than $1 million. He's supposed to have $80 million on Google. He could not pave the road with less than $1 million. Until he became president, even as senator, promised the people of the county that he would do Twin City. I don't know whether he knew the meaning of that. He would do Twin City. All these flowery lies, the people bought them. You understand? Lawmakers don't do certain things. It is left with the executive. But when you have a strong legislature that can put its feet down and provide robust oversight so that the public works ministry can do the roles, the health ministry can improve the health sector, the education ministry can improve the education sector and the public facilities related to education, all of these things. So when you're asking me for my tangible, and I told another group, I know we're far beyond that. I told another group, let people asking me for tangible compared with my friend Thomas Fowler.
I know you let to pay overtime, so I mean, we're now all the time, but I know you.
Yeah, give me 3 minutes. Yeah, give me 3 minutes. I'll be done.
I suppose you come in, so I know you pay for it, so I ain't worried. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much. And you know, I told one group, they asking me for tangible, like my friend Thomas Fowler. I said, you see, that the illusion they put you guys on. Which coach have you seen querying the number 5 for not scoring more goals than the number 9? Somebody being office 15 years. I've been in office less than a year or just a little over a year. And you asking me for everything I have done, none of which Thomas Fowler has done, none. Keeping the executive feet to the fire, ensuring that nominees who do not meet the benchmark to enter public office are denied confirmation, putting my own colleagues to check for not properly scrutinizing a budget. When last have you heard Thomas Fowler speak to issues in the country? Even when Ellen Johnson said he was set to have passed under her administration 66 bogus concession agreement. Did you hear Thomas Father say anything toward that or against? Because he voted for those. Have you heard Thomas Father even criticize Eaton or Iboma deal? No, because he voted for those.
Let me ask you, now that we have almost 1,100 people watching, and those are people that just tap in. There are several other thousand that are watching via YouTube and other places. Are you ready to go into a debate with Thomas Fowler?
Amen. I'm not denigrating Thomas Fowler. I went in debate with Wilson Tapper in 2009, with Jared Nindo Sharif, with Clement Ure, with Professor Wilson Tapper, and Grace Pan. In 2019, I went in debate with Dr. Kinney Weeks, Mohammed Dukle. That Thomas Fowler, ask Thomas Fowler if you won't come to debate with me. Let me give you a blunt answer, direct answer. For us to occupy public office, we must debate the issues so that we can clearly lay our vision, tell the people why we want their vote to represent them. We should start making debate a requirement. And of course, I'm prepared to go to debate. I went there 2009 when I contested to be senator. I was there 2019 when I contested to be senator and won. Of course, as an incumbent senator, setting to retain our seat, we are prepared to go to debate. And I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day CDC will drink that Lagos that Akawa grade the mobile model then say they can drink to bring Thomas Fowler near me for to discuss the issue.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you, AB. Thank you, ADD. God bless you. God
Thank you, brother.
people of Liberia. My regards to your daughter, your children, and your lovely wife. And thank you for honoring us, even though you gave us hard time before you came. But, I mean, we never had a hard question for you. You had answer for all the questions.
When you're talking truth, when you don't have anything to hide, you're not protecting any particular interest but the general good. You speak with authority and you are authentic about what you say. But thank you and God bless you.
Round 2 is on Wednesday. George Solo and Josh Weir.
George Solo,
PM.
George Solo and myself were in Florida at George Weir's house, 2013.
You joking?
Yeah, George Solo, McGill, Aaron Coley, George Weir himself, quite a boss.
But George Solo is sending a challenge out. He said, I want Akara's grave, I want Moluba Molu, I want Jefferson, I want anybody can come. When he comes on Wednesday, he said he's ready to debate with anybody.
Look, and I will leave.
Tell us.
I will leave CDC. I will leave George Solo, George Weir, and CDC, and they will do their thing. But I'm telling you, I'm telling you, and the audience, George Solo, George Weir, Darius Dillon, Aaron Coley, he's LRA, McGill today, who George Weir is used to calling McGee. We allow that. Who all were in Florida for the whole weekend at George Weir's house, including Abba Toba, the former CDC USA chairman who resigned and running as independent. We all were there for a whole weekend.
The message can win you.
And things happened. I saw George Solo operating. So when I hear George Solo talking about George Weir, it's nothing strange to me. One of the people who worship George Weir in the court as a god see him as angelic, as a saint, and faultless. George Weir is petty and evil. I know what George Solo did for George Weir. I was there. At least we were all together under the same roof for 3 days. I listened to George Solo the last time, and he didn't say anything strange. It's just that people didn't like the firewall he was using, so it turned some people off. But George Solo didn't say anything strange that I don't personally know. Good night.
You know, I mean, George Solo coming on, the fact that we're in Liberia now, 6 radio stations, and several others are waiting to carry us. George Solo will talk about the issues. He will talk about things. He will not go the other route that people want him to go to. And the fact that he has agreed to come on in phase 2. Because, my man, Darius,
Yeah.
The president in church referred to George Solo as a Zoko. He
But
said,
no, that don't charge her that. It's a shrine.
Eh?
That don't charge that shrine.
Okay, he said the man on drugs.
Yeah, and two of them know one another.
So,
and George Solo said, the mega guy and the message George Solo drug. That's that.
Ebi, they may he decided to be the chairman of a major opposition, CDC. You know the man on drugs, you tell the man to be the chairman of CDC. You didn't know that the man was on drugs.
Show me your friend. Show me your friend.
I will tell you why.
Who you are.
Uh-huh.
Amos 33, eh? Two can work unless they agree.
Thank you, Darius. Good night.
I'll see you.
And folks, I'm afraid that's all the time I have to be with you. God willing, I will be back tomorrow night. Tavina Cole and her crew will be at 8 p.m. Then on Wednesday, George G. Solo reappears on Bridge Radio Africa. This man wants to respond to George Ware on Bridge Radio Africa. We have the exclusive right for George G. Solo. Even though some people say we can tie our neck the door, I will continue to tie my neck the door. Until then, folks, can you please allow me to borrow the wordings of the wise man? Tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises. And there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone. A bald-headed man does not walk on the moonlight. When women know your friend black man. What no muzu anyone get mad double to the medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia. ASHFORD the Giant. A big thank you to Top FM in Zwadro. A big thank you to Prime FM in Monrovia. A big thank you to Laugh FM in Liberia, Monrovia. A big thank you to Joy FM. A big thank you to Super FM and Super Television. I'm ASHFORD the Giant, and now you know me, Garley. Have a good night.
Kiamsito, voy a Ville Level. Hey, yeah. Hoka. Hey, yeah. Hoka. Hey, yeah. Hoka. Salimata Keita. De Samassa Record à New York. Dansez, mesdames, mesdemoiselles et messieurs, au rythme de la guitare rythmique de l'Okasa Yambongo. Hey, hey, hey. Passe-moi tout à la guitare basse. Et t'es bruit, et t'es bruit, et t'es bruit. Tout le monde était bruit. Bibi dance, bibi dance. Chamuto, chamuto, chamuto bakata. Chamuto, chamuto, chamuto baguluta guluta. Chamuto,